Ladies and gentlemen, mute button, welcome to the Packernet Podcast. I am your host and resident fanalist, as always, Ryan Schlipp. Check us out online, packernet.com. Find me on Twitter, pack_data. All right, so today is the last string of 3 training camps in a row. So we got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Then we have preseason action. On Thursday, we got the Lions game, again, against the Falcons this time. Saturday, we've got the Packers, but we've also got the Vikings at 3 o'clock. So 3 o'clock, Vikings-Texans. 7 o'clock is Packers-Jets. And then Sunday, we got Bears-Dolphins. So depending on how interested you are, we've got every day. Training camp, Lions, Vikings, Packers, Bears. Monday, we have a day off. Tuesday is Packers training camp. Wednesday is a day off. Thursday is Packers-Colts joint practice. That's away. It's not in Lambeau, so you can't attend it. But there should still be some Packers media there, as well as, obviously, Colts media, which I'll have to dig up and see who's reporting what. But we'll get the rundown on that. And then Friday the 15th, day off. Saturday, Lions at noon, Packers at noon, Vikings at noon. So we'll just see the Packers, I guess. Bears, again, will be that Sunday. Then we got day off, training camp, day off, Seahawks joint practice. Thursday, we have the Vikings and the Bears both playing. That's 7 o'clock Vikings, 7:15 Bears. I don't know which one we're going to have televised, but either way, we'll have that. Saturday, noon is the Lions, 3 o'clock is the Packers. Then we get a mini dead period. That whole next week is going to be no football, no practice, no nothing. Now, I'll just tell you right now, we are planning a little mini vacation that week. I don't think I'm even going to try the podcast. I may, but I doubt it. So Clayton and the crew will have to hold it down for that week. I deliberately picked that week because that's sort of the last time where there's nothing going on. So going to visit my parents down in Indiana, so that'll be a fun time. Go visit the farm, let the kids play with some animals, etc., etc. And then we will be back the following week, that Sunday-ish, and then should be Thursday, that Thursday the 4th. We got our first real football, and of course, the 7th. That's a 3:25 game, Packers and Lions. So that is the full rundown. For the most part, we got action very regularly. Again, the training camp is going to be a little bit pared down instead of like 3 days on, 1 day off kind of thing. But we've got more action by way of actual football games. We've got joint practices, which are always a little bit extra exciting. So it should be a good time. All right. So today we do have training camp, or for you it would be yesterday. You know how this works. We're going to go over that. I'm going to be going through the notes live as they appear. Interspersed throughout that are going to be maybe some other notes from other teams. As I see it, for example, Justin Fields goes 9 of 16 with 2 picks in team drill, 1 drop from Lazard. Passing offense is a work in progress. Oh, that's not going to be a good team. I'm just telling you right now. But we got Matt LaFleur press conference first thing up. Oh, I want to mention first, he's probably going to talk about it, but it was announced that Nate Hobbs apparently underwent some kind of a minor knee procedure and is expected back for week 1. I don't know if you want to take that as good news or bad news, but that's where we're at. So obviously not how you wanted to start things with Nate Hobbs, but hopefully if he's back by week 1, which we don't know that he will be, but if he is, then hopefully no harm, no foul kind of a deal there. We'll see. First things first, Matt LaFleur said he's not going to put a timetable on Nate Hobbs and his return. LaFleur said he has made a determination on playing time for the preseason. Everyone has to be prepared to play is about all he'd say. the quote, they're football players, so everyone's got to go into it expecting to play. So he's not going to tell them, I guess, if they're playing. I don't know. On Hobbs, he said, unfortunately, he had to have something cleaned up, hoping to have him back sooner than later. Apparently, the Packers, I don't know if this is a thing with Nate Hobbs or what, but they're bringing back Corey Ballentine, which is interesting and kind of cool. Not that Ballentine was ever a great player, but he's been around. You know, it's a name we've grown accustomed to, so good to have him back. Matt LaFleur said it's a guy that's got experience and knows our system. On Rasheed Walker, I wouldn't anticipate anything too long-term. He's working back through it. Obviously, the good news there is that you get a little bit of extra reps for guys like Morgan. I don't know if Belton's ever they're going to give him a shot at left tackle, but if they wanted to, it could give them some other opportunities. It does seem as though neither of those guys will be starting at this point, which is, again, pretty upsetting, but hopefully more reps will get them closer to where they need to be. LaFleur on Quay Walker, he should be limited today. Quay Walker will take limited reps. Quote, he is the quarterback of the defense. He will return to 11 on 11, but limited, so whatever that means. This is practice 10, by the way, which is pretty fantastic. I mean, the injuries are not great. You don't love to see it, but so far relatively minor. And this is 10 practices in, so fingers crossed that we kind of keep it low on the numbers and low on the severity. Couple rest days did Tucker Kraft's body good. Packers tight end is practicing today, back from groin injury, which is great. We kind of mentioned on Family Night how the way they were talking about it sounded like he could go if we wanted him to, but we figure why risk it? Let's just shut him down. Apparently that was correct because he's already back. And, you know, similarly, if he wasn't 100% right now, I doubt they'd be putting him out there, so he must be doing fine. Number one offensive line in walkthroughs. We've got Jordan Morgan at left tackle, Aaron Banks at left guard, Elton Jenkins at center, Sean Ryan at right guard, and Zach Tom at right tackle. So we will see how that goes. Apparently the Packers also have signed former draft pick. Packers signed former draft pick after rookie camp. Green Bay Packers have signed guard Lycidas Smith, one of the tryout candidates at rookie camp. I knew that name sounded a little familiar. So, all right. Smith was a 6th-round pick by the Arizona Cardinals in 2022. He started 2 games as a rookie but failed to make their roster in 2023. Last season, he spent a week in November on Houston's practice squad and second half of the season on Philadelphia's practice squad. He did not see any action. So, all right, he'll be here for the time being. And then apparently to make all this work, because I was trying to wonder how many guys are shut down here, Packers have waived/injured wide receiver Sam Brown Jr. So I would guess this does primarily come down to mostly just an injury situation. Probably, I mean, he had on practice day 8 on August 1st, he had an ankle injury. He also was still not out there by family night, so I'm guessing they kind of got to the point where seemed like he wasn't going to be back anytime soon, considering he is so far down the list. I mean, it's unfortunate being a undrafted free agent. You want to give these young, talented guys an opportunity, but you know, the bottom of the roster guys, we kind of need to see something, and we want to see if we can find some hidden gems. And if you can't play, then we're going to have to go grab somebody else and see what we can get. And I'm guessing that's more or less the situation. He's probably going to be out for at least through this period, you know, up until the 53 cutdowns, probably not going to be back. So they had to make that decision, unfortunately, for him. But I'm guessing he'll end up getting some more opportunities down the road next year, training camps, all that kind of stuff. But he did some pretty good things, had a 7-yard touchdown reception and a 5-yard touchdown reception from Sean Clifford. Primarily did work with Sean Clifford on that number 3 unit. Seemed to do a pretty good job in the red zone. Solid short to intermediate guy. But again, with injuries being that far down the list, they're going to have to make a determination. And if you can't fight your way back, then they're going to have to move on, unfortunately. So they got a bunch of guys snapping to quarterbacks, and whoever it is that's the number 3 guy snapping to Clifford. If I had to guess, what do we got? We got Elton Jenkins probably snapping to Jordan. Monk is probably snapping to Willis, and so what, maybe Trey Hill? Isn't that the guy that was causing those problems before in family night? Almost snaps it over his head again, so. The centers don't seem to be much. The number 1 and number 2 I don't think are really a problem. I could be wrong. But you get a little further down, and we've had some issues with these snaps kind of getting thrown into the frickin' stratosphere. All right, full injury report here. Tucker Kraft has returned, not practicing. Emmanuel Wilson knee, Dontavian Wicks calf. Nate Hobbs knee, Rasheed Walker groin, Travis Glover shoulder, Kamal Haddon hip, Aaron Mosby groin, Marshawn Lloyd groin, Christian Watson knee, Colin Oliver hamstring, John Williams back injury. Got several obligatory slow-mo videos of Matthew Golden, which I appreciate. Again, man, Matthew Golden just looks so clean. I mean, there's such subtle little things. The timing and body positioning just to make sure that when he catches it, it's clean and his body is ready to like get out and run. Positioning on the sideline to make sure I'm hugging the sideline, but my feet are not out of bounds and that they stay in bounds and that I can kind of turn and get upfield. I mean, it's just little things that when you see him do it, it's like, oh, that's smart. But you wouldn't think about it unless he did it. You see other guys and you know, again, it's one of those things where, I mean, if you're a coach, you know these things. But as a fan, I'll watch somebody and I'm like, I don't know what he was supposed to do. Like, it just is one of those things, you know, how... And then you watch Matthew Golden, you're like, oh, that was smart. That was good. There was a short little pass, borderline like little screen pass, like a wide receiver screen. Not quite, but very, like a 5 yards off to the side. And he's like facing the quarterback, and he does a hop to position his body to the sideline, and his feet land as the ball gets there to reposition his body to run out and around. It's just like you see it, it's like it makes everything look so smooth and easy and just nice, short, quick stop. Ball's right there. Body is now in position to loop around, gain a couple extra yards. I mean, it's so just easy. It's mechanical in a good way. It's just, it's like watching a machine just operate with precision. All right, we got some one-on-one details coming up. Why don't we take our first break before we dive into all of that? We will be right back. All right, some one-on-one action via Andy Herman here. Oladapo and King drop interceptions in the first 2 one-on-ones, but both had fantastic coverage. I guess you'll take that. Heath beats Dunn. Johnson beats Robinson on a nasty slant. Lumpkin overthrown. Reed smokes Bullard for a touchdown on a slot fade. I will say I've been very, shouldn't say optimistic, that's exactly incorrect. Hopeful for Bullard, but I just constant him getting beat. Dobbs catches short versus CV. Golden smokes Nixon on a slant. Beautiful hands catch again. Hicks contested catch versus Baldwin. Good hands. Sims catch versus Oladapo, but pretty good coverage. Shepard not on the same page as the quarterback on a comeback route. Heath clean win on an in versus Herring for a touchdown. Zane shuts down a tight end. Hardman slips King almost with a pick. Valentine pass breakup versus Dobbs. Nixon shuts down Golden. Bullard with a good jam on Reed, but Reed still wins and catches it right near the sideline for a touchdown. Come on, man. Harris, good pass breakup on Johnson. Melton pass breakup versus Shepard. Lumpkin touchdown catch versus Williams, good coverage. Hardman beats King for a touchdown. Dobbs, easy touchdown versus Valentine after Valentine talked a ton of smack on the last rep. Golden, almost a sick one-hander versus Nixon, but incomplete, good coverage. Hicks beats Omar Brown easy for a touchdown. Then we got Wes Hodge says, Donovan Jennings getting some key number 1 reps with 65 and 74, not doing one-on-ones, held his ground. Morgan had another nice day, Ryan 2. Brenton Cox continues to shine in the drill. Good battle, again, between Tom and Gary. One-on-one opens with 3 reps between Stackhouse and Monk. Defender got decent push on the first 2. Ryan Wood says, man, Savion Williams has some jets when he turns a corner on a sweep, gets downfield in a hurry. I'm saying, man, that guy's faster than I think people give him credit for. Team drills coming up. Twos are up first. Willis, rollout, but Inigbare is there and defense is all over it in coverage. Inside run by White goes nowhere. Interesting linebacker alignment with the twos. Welch and Hopper are outside with rookie Jamon Johnson as the Mike. It's Welch and Hopper in nickel. Brinson jumps offside, allowing a free play for Willis, who fires downfield for Hardman, who draws the PI from King. So, I mean, to start off at least, defense all over the offense again. The defense is just flying around the field. Offense can't quite keep up. However, penalties keep it alive, at least for now. Simmons all over an outside screen. He is too fast. Savion Williams with an impressive catch along the sideline from Willis. Had a boy. I don't know if that was a touchdown or what, but that's the end of the notes there. Wes Hodkowitz says, nice connection between Willis and Savion Williams on a back shoulder. Starters for the ones, Love. Then you got Jacobs and Brooks. Brooks is now RB2 with the injuries to Emmanuel Wilson and Marshawn Lloyd. Kraft at tight end. Golden and Dobbs again to start things off. Morgan, Banks, Jenkins, Ryan, and Tom, offensive line. Gary Clark, Wyatt, Lucas Van Ness. Simmons, Quay, Cooper. Now, this has been a massive question for me for a while, and this isn't definitive, but what I said was when Quay comes back, and I would not have guessed this, when Quay comes back, is it McDuffie or is it Simmons that gets the first start at linebacker? Again, I'm sure there will be rotation, but who starts first is interesting to me, and again, I would have absolutely thought they would give him the nod to McDuffie, who has been their guy for a very long time. It speaks, to me, quite a bit for Simmons to automatically just be thrown into that, and I'm beyond excited about it. As skeptical as I have been about Isaiah Simmons, the fact that the Packers seem to feel like they've got a guy here to go with their duo of Quay and Cooper fits in perfectly for what they want out of that third spot. I don't know if that's the strong side or what exactly Simmons is working, but that's pretty cool. Nixon and Valentine at corner, Williams McKinney at safety. Kyle Malzahn says, Lucas Van Ness having himself a camp, impressed thus far, doesn't matter until week 1. Wes Hodkowitz says, Devontae Wyatt via wrecking ball blows up next play. McDuffie does get pretty quickly rotated in again. That's expected. Edgerrin Cooper bursts into the backfield and drops Josh Jacobs for about a 4-yard loss, shades of last year. It's at least every other camp you're getting an Edgerrin Cooper play in the backfield. Eversol says Edgerrin Cooper completely blew up a toss right to Jacobs. Believe he's averaged 1 tackle for a loss every 2.3 snaps last season. A lot of Savion Williams action today during team period. I'm very excited about that. Like I said, it was such a slow start, plus there's some injury concerns. He had the red jersey on, then he had a concussion, and it was like, it just felt like, considering how much competition there was, you already got Dobbs, you've already got Golden, you've already got Reed, you've already got Wicks, not to mention Hardman and Heath and other guys that have already been there. I just thought Savion Williams, whatever, it's probably just going to get pushed out, but if this thing can ramp up here a little bit, as it seems to be, we'll just have to see. It's not impossible that he can put on a show, and obviously preseason and whatnot is going to be the most important. If he can show out in preseason, and again, we're not talking about number 1 or anything like that. It's just a question of when the season starts, is he a big part of the rotation, like on the low end at least, or is he very rarely used, if at all? Mr. G, who again stays pretty locked in with the defensive line group, says rest of the defense heads over to join in on the drill. It looks like probably the twos or something got done with their drill, so they go back over to positional stuff. So the rest of the defensive linemen shoot over to join the other group. He says rest of defense heads over to join in on the drill. Rashawn Gary is the first to greet them. Bain really keeps the guys fired up and focused, a true leader on this team. And there's no question about that. Some of the clips that I've seen from him and others, the one that clearly stands out, and I think I mentioned this before, was when a couple guys did the drill wrong, and it was Rashawn who said, nope, do it again. Do it again. Both of you, get over here, do it again. And the coaches didn't jump in and be like, no, let's go. Let's get through this drill. They stepped back and just let him do his thing. Rashawn just said, nope, get over here, do it again. That wasn't right, do it again. So, I mean, he's a unique guy who is super locked in all the time. I'm guessing he's not exactly like the life of the party in the locker room or anything like that, but I think he's probably respected for being an absolute madman who is 110% intensity all the time. I certainly appreciate the living crap out of that. But, I mean, just the way he attacks practice, the way he walks on the field, I mean, just everything about him is just, he is, sometimes between drills or whatever, you see guys kind of just like wandering and just kind of look at, he's always locked in. He's always trying to think, what is the thing I need to be doing now? And so when the other group of guys came over, most of the guys are just standing around. Rashawn goes immediately to engage. He starts walking in their direction, hands up, high fives, all that stuff. Rashawn 1,000% has stepped into that leadership role on the defense. Herman with a couple team notes. Lucas Van Ness and Gary with would-be sacks to open up team reps with the ones. Savion Williams, an active day already with a nice catch along the sidelines and a couple nice runs. About the 100th bad snap of camp, but this was one of the very few that happened with the ones. Jenkins airmailed it. Well, I just had to run my freaking mouth, didn't I? Elton Jenkins, with his first official bad snap of camp, just sailed the football over Jordan's head in shotgun. Whatever. It's fine. Mike Spofford says, Quay Walker taking his first 11 on 11s. Run D making things difficult for Jacobs. Love not getting many clean pockets early either. Nice seam for Savion Williams to end on the end around. Then a bad shotgun snap. Defense continuing strong work from family night. Well, you wanted pass rush improvement. Better not hear anyone complaining about Jordan not having time in the pocket. McDuffie all over an end around to Reed. Glad nobody had to watch that happen. Nice burst on an outside run from Abanikanda. That's an interesting storyline to keep an eye on. Jamon Johnson shuts down a check down to Abanikanda. Brandon McManus makes his first 3 kicks today from 42 left, 46 left, and 49 right. He's now 39 of 40 in camp. The media are sticking with that. Apparently they're saying that first kick it didn't count because it wasn't a part of teamwork or something. I don't know. I think if you line up to kick a field goal, you should track it. If we're tracking it, let's track it. But whatever, we'll go by their numbers. 39 of 40 in camp. Whether it's 38 or 39 of 40 makes almost no difference whatsoever. He is insanely good right now. Hopefully that continues through the season because he's on an impossible run right now. Javon Bullard all over a wide receiver screen to Dobbs on the 3rd and 8 play. Entire defense did a good job rallying to the ball. McKinney got caught a bit on 3rd and 8 to Heath. I don't think he thought Love would throw it there, but Love rifled one almost no look at the last minute and fit it in. Got another drill being recorded by Mr. G. Get the ball back. Coach Covington stressing the importance of awareness versus passing an RPO. Another unique thing that I haven't seen before, which is they fire off, going to get the quarterback, and then have to stop, turn around, and start chasing from behind as though it's a screen or whatever the case may be. Here's a good one here. Aaron Nagler says, not sure if the offense just caught them in a blitz with a perfect play call or if Love made the adjustment at the line, but they just smoked Halfley pressure with a great underneath throw to Jacobs with Kraft out in front blocking. Big gain. Herman says, good blocking by Kraft and Golden on the outside to help Jacobs pick up a first. All these plays are 3rd and 8. So they're doing a 3rd down drill, I guess. Love pressured and misses a check down to Brooks that wasn't going anywhere anyways. Love with an absolute dime to Dobbs for a deep post touchdown. Dobbs with a beautiful catch. Eversole going through the 3rd down period, short screen to Dobbs. Defense closes quick. Love to Heath, moves the sticks. Screen right to Jacobs. That was the big one for a 1st down. Lucas Van Ness pressure versus Morgan. Love's check down is incomplete. Another positive for Van Ness, another negative for Morgan. Love to Dobbs, 50-yard touchdown to beat Bullard. Wes Hodquist says Romeo Dobbs had probably his best week of the offseason last week and starts fast today with a 55-yard touchdown from Love on a deep post. Sped to it perfectly to catch in stride. Spofford says better sequence from ones on offense this time. Heath converts on a 3rd down in front of McKinney. Love checks to Jacobs' screen. Locks up Valentine with a good block to give the seam. After a check down goes awry, Dobbs beat Bullard. Touchdown, you know the rest of the story. Andy Herman says, not sure if something happened with Aaron Banks. It was Jacob Monk at left guard primarily, and then Donovan Jennings got snaps at left guard with the ones on that touchdown pass to Dobbs. I mean, don't start, man. He just got back. Kalen King reads a screen to Malik Heath before the snap, triggers a pass breakup a few yards into the backfield. Good recognition from the young cornerback. But, all right, tell you what, let's take a break here. That way we can just run through the rest of these. I'm not sure how much practice is actually left. We will take a break. We'll be right back. Willis hits Hardman on a skinny corner for 20+. Great recognition by Kalen King to break up a quick smoke to Heath. Arrives same time at the ball and breaks it up. A couple different notes from Herman here. Kalen King shot out of a cannon to break up a pass on to Heath. Willis with a dime to Hardman for a really good pickup deep right side. Aaron Banks is currently in with the twos, which is ... interesting. More importantly, Brandt and Aaron are next to each other for an all Banks left side of the offensive line. Please do me a favor and don't read too much into that. The guy we paid a bunch of money to is not going to be running with the twos. I'm guessing they just want to give the other guys time with the ones for whatever reason. I don't know, but the 0.000% chance he's getting demoted to the backups. Savion Williams as a gunner on punt team and was down there immediately. That was fun. With Valentine playing with the number 1 defense with Hobbs out, Bullard playing flyer opposite Melton on number 1 punt cover. Robinson bats down a deep ball from Willis to Hicks. Got the Bears head coach doing a press conference, by the way. He says that Caleb Williams' playing status for Sunday versus Miami is TBD, so we will see how that goes. I would guess he's not going to. However, like most of these quarterbacks, it's probably either 1 or 0 times they'll be playing. I would guess with Caleb it's at least 1 because, I mean, it's his first time working with Caleb, and we need to make sure he's ready, and he doesn't seem to be ready. So I'll be interested to see how often he gets used. Again, it has to at least be 1. It could end up being more than that. I hope he plays, obviously. That's a big part of the reason I won't even watch the game. By the way, if you want to know how much of a freaking nerd I am, I have 4 screens here. One of them is the notes that I'm going through. The other 3 are watching an AI chess tournament. I got an email like, hey, we're going to do a chess tournament to see which AI reigns supreme. I'm like, heck yeah, brother. So there's 3 competitions going on right now, and that's what's on my other screens. Gemini currently 2-0 against Claude, which surprises me. Grok 2-0 against Gemini, although that's Flash compared to Pro. And then 04 Mini is 1-0 against DeepSeek. I expect DeepSeek to lose that. Anyways, continuing. Sorry. Also, real quick, another quick AI note. I watched a video on this thing called 2027. It's some kind of a prediction thing that apparently is pretty well known and all that stuff. It's if they're right, things are going to get bad really quickly, as in starting next year. With that comes a lot of anger and all that. Just don't hate me, okay? That was my first thought, is all this stuff's going to go downhill, and all of you are going to think of me as like the main proponent of this thing that has ruined your lives, your family's lives, and everybody else. I'm sorry, all right? I find it fun and entertaining, all right? I'm sorry it ruined everything. I'm sorry it ruined your lives. I didn't expect it to happen so fast. I thought it would be 20, 30 years before AI ruined our lives. I didn't think it would be 2. All right? I'm sorry. In the meantime, it is what it is. Enjoy your life while you can. Okay, continuing. Willis late throw across the field again. No pick, but this time Micah Robinson easily breaks up the pass intended for Hicks. Savion Williams with a nice block on the outside to spring Chris Brooks for a few yards on a swing pass. That's another interesting attribute of Williams, is that he's such a big guy. If they could turn him into a really solid blocker, Grok wins again, that could be another huge attribute. And if you can add in the blocking and, you know, whatever he brings on special teams or whatever, he's making himself much more valuable as the days go on. But blocking's a huge one, because Matt LaFleur wants guys out there that can be receivers and also blockers. And if he can do the behind the line of scrimmage stuff that Matt LaFleur will refuse to let go of, he's going to have himself a heck of a time there. 3rd and 6 upcoming. Defense looks like they had a sack. Incomplete to Savion anyways. Even if it was caught, it would have been short. Just been hearing his name a ton. Micah Robinson with another PBU. Kid has a handful of notable plays every practice. Excited to see him in preseason. Herman has a list of I don't know if this is first, second, third team, what, but 1st and 10, Abanikanda run goes nowhere. 2nd and 10, Abanikanda run for 4. 3rd and 6, screen to Abanikanda for nothing. Well short of the first, great defense. Bears coach Ben Johnson says the delay of games were really problematic Sunday. In addition, communication errors that led to offensive linemen going the wrong way on some plays. Says they've gone through all those issues the last couple of days and are ready to move forward. I bet you are. Matthew Golden beats Keyshawn Nixon for about 20 yards from Jordan Love on an actual dig route. Really smooth separation against Nixon to the middle of the field, and Love hits the rookie in stride. By the way, I did see that Romeo Dobbs 55-yard bomb. I do want to give Jordan Love a lot of credit. I've been mentioning his deep ball has been struggling a little bit, which it has. Great to see the perfect in-stride throw on that, as well as this one. I don't know how much of that 20 yards was after the catch, but assuming it was a 20-ish yard pass, it sounds like Love is having a pretty good day today. Spofford says, feels like I've mentioned this every day. Golden available over the middle, and Love puts it on him. Another nice run from Brooks. Love gets a free play with D jumping off sides, but Reed slips low, seam throw, and can't haul it in. Long list of notes from Herman. 1st and 10, Love to Jacobs on a check down for about 5. Jacobs inside run. Gary was all over it, but they gave the first down. Aaron Banks back with the 1s, by the way. Wouldn't read anything into that last series with the 2s. Looked like a mismatch of players. Love to Golden for a nice pickup on a post over the middle. Golden accelerates through the catch point. Easy hands catch. Big first down. Some real juice from Chris Brooks on a nice inside run. Probably the most sauce I've seen from him. Jordan gets a free play and a hard count. Fires downfield for Reed, who can't make the sliding catch. Definitely a bit underthrown. Fake end around to Reed. Defense doesn't bite. Love throws it away. Looks like they called it a sack. Love complete over the middle to Dobbs, but definitely probably would have lit him up in a game. 4th and 2 upcoming for the offense. Looks like the defense stuffs a run. Of note, no McKinney on that drive. Zane Anderson came in a third safety. So it looks like the offense lost that one. Corey Ballantyne already making plays. Just undercut a short Sean Clifford pass to Johnny Lumpkin for a pass breakup in his first practice back. Deslin Alexander makes one big play a day. Nice tackle for a loss on a run to his side. He was immediately in the backfield. McManus now good from 51, off the left upright on 53, and makes 56. He's now 41 of 43, and you can't even be... At least one of his 2 misses came from 53 yards out. I think the other one was like 48. But he made from 51 and 56. They're pushing him back to almost 60 just to try to make him miss now. And it's not working. My goodness. 5 of 6 on the day. Wild stuff. We got 2 minute here. McKinney back with the 1s in 2 minutes. Zane Anderson in for Williams this time. Lots of rotating today. 1 minute left. Ball on your own 45. 1st and 10, down 7, 0 timeouts. Right off the bat, what an effing throw by Love on an anticipation throw on a deep out to Reed. Feet just in, out of bounds, first down. Wow. Throwaway by Love on the next play. Right decision there. 2nd down, 48 seconds left. Love buys time, finds Jacobs for a check down. 6 yards and out of bounds. Love to Musgrave. First down, out of bounds. Ball on the 20-yard line. 36 seconds left. Throwaway from Love. Love throws late across his body, deep middle of the end zone. Not sure what he saw. Lands out of bounds barely and harmlessly incomplete. Jordan Morgan had 2 really nice blocks in a row at left tackle against Sorrell and Enigbare. Another throwaway from Love. 4th down upcoming. 16 seconds left. Need a touchdown. Ball still on the 20. Love throws to Jacobs at the pylon. Might have had a chance, but it goes out of bounds and incomplete. Defense wins. 49ers apparently signed Equanimeous St. Brown. He just recently got let go, but still out there, still doing his thing, still making some money. Good for him. 2s up next in 2 minutes. Willis complete outside to his tight end for about 5. Looks like there was a defensive penalty, 1st and 5. Willis with a nice back shoulder throw along the sideline, but Hicks locates it late and can't make the one-handed catch. Robinson with good coverage. Willis deep shot on a post, complete to Shepard. There's Shepard again. Defense completely lost him. Ball on the 15, clock ticks. Willis goes fast, doesn't see anyone, immediately throws it away. Willis buys time, but throws it away. 20 seconds left, down 7, ball on the 15, 3rd and 10. Willis tries Heath, but Heath can't quite get there to the pylon. Heath upset he didn't get the penalty call against Herring. Willis to Hardman, touchdown on 4th down. Gorgeous ball from Willis to Hardman for the touchdown. Hardman beat King easily. Going for 2 for the win. Willis, read option keeper. Unreal sidearm throw to Hicks for 2. Huge drive from Willis, his best of camp. By the way, mentioned kind of earlier in camp that Hardman kind of seemed to be a really solid red zone option. Well, the twos get down into the red zone, and who do they look to for the touchdown? It's Mecole Hardman. But great job from Willis. The twos in general. Defense has been dominant up and down the field for quite a while now. Offense needed that one. Kyle Malzahn says second-team offense in the 2-minute drill. Malik threw a dime to Mecole Hardman in the end zone for a touchdown. Offense goes opts for the 2-point conversion for the win. Willis rolls out, throws a sidearm bullet to Julian Hicks for the win. Whole team went nuts. Another 2-minute situation. 2-minute in quotes. Down 1, ball near midfield. 15 seconds left, no timeouts. 1st and 10. Love complete to Reed for about 15. Spike the ball. McManus drills it. So there you go. That was easy. Wes Hodkowitz says, Love to Reed for 21 on 3rd and 11. Game situation with 15 seconds left. Clocks it with 2 seconds left. McManus good from 42. So there's another shot from Jordan Love, by the way. 21-yard pass. Again, I don't know how much of that is through the air, but it sounds like Jordan's really on it today. Just got to read this because I find it funny. It's kind of like, you know how in Green Bay, people that don't like Jordan Love will talk about Malik or they'll talk about Clifford. Remember when that was a thing, when Clifford should be our starter or whatever nonsense? There's a little bit of that in Chicago, and I want to feed that fire so much, and I know that this is going to contribute to that. Bears coach Ben Johnson with a lot of praise for backup quarterback Tyson Bagent when asked about him today. Man, he's been phenomenal. I mean, he's smart as a whip. Appreciate the seriousness and intent that he brings every time he walks into the room. Meeting room, walk through, it doesn't matter. He's locked in. He's focused. I think his teammates feel that from him. Love the... Teammates seem to appreciate his attitude. That's great. Love the fact, he'll throw the ball and he keeps working through his progressions. It's another... I mean, we're just going to call that a dig at Caleb. Just so it goes home with exactly where everyone's going to be in case he had to move on. I think he's taking this seriously. He's preparing the right way, and I couldn't be more thrilled that he's here with us. Tyson Bagent has been solid for the Bears pretty much throughout. I think it's kind of like Malik where you can point to a couple times where, okay, that wasn't great. You kind of look like a backup. But there's also those flashes of, holy crap, could this guy be a starter? So just something, I know some of you guys like to kind of play around with Bears fans the way I do. Just a little ammunition, something you can put in your back pocket. Boy, that Tyson Bagent guy looks pretty good, eh, boys? I mean, I'm not saying anything about Caleb. Obviously, generational talent. But, I mean, that Tyson Bagent guy, heaven forbid anything were to happen to Caleb. I mean, you might actually have a couple wins there with Tyson fella. The point isn't for us to fight with them about Tyson. It's to get Bears fans to start believing they need to move on so that the Civil War can ensue. That's my goal with the Tyson Bagent thing. Two's up next. They run a quarterback power to the right side with Willis as the defense has almost everyone back in coverage. Willis gets out of bounds. McManus drills the kick again. So basically the defense plays all the way back, and they're like, well, we got a quarterback that can run like the wind. So they just tell him to run as fast and as far as you can until the clock hits, 2 seconds or so, and then get out of bounds. He does. Of course, McManus comes through with another kick. McManus good from 47, apparently, on that one. The scramble from Willis about 11 yards. So offense 2-0 on that drill. One's up again. This time it's 3rd and 2, 10 seconds left, 1 timeout, ball at about the opposing 40. Love buys time but throws it away. 57-yarder upcoming for McManus. He absolutely crushes it down the middle. Looked good from 90. Obviously an exaggeration, but I mean, it's just ridiculous. So now he's good from 57. Just, I don't know, man. I don't even know. Third game situation, Love and Golden can't connect on a deep ball. McManus good from 55. Now we're going to say 57. That's it for practice. 2 hours and 17 minutes. Kyle Malzahn says standout players of the day, Malik Willis and Romeo Dobbs. Apparently that kick also was a low snap, but Daniel Whalen got it under control. McManus drills it from 55 right, according to Ryan Wood. Brandon McManus is 44 of 46 on kicks during team period through 10 practices. He just hit from 42, 47, and 55 to end practice. Just psychotic stuff that he's doing right now. Apparently, Pete Carroll plans to start his starters against the Seahawks, the Raiders. So if you feel like watching a Raiders game, I guess, I don't know. Maybe you got fantasy football aspirations for the Raiders. What's his name? The rookie running back could be interesting to watch, I guess. All right, anything else going on here? Former Packers quarterback Michael Pratt is now QB4 on the Bucs. Shut up. Don't talk to me about Pratt. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Guy should have been a Packer. He would have been a legend. Courtney Cronin says, this has been the definition of a get-right practice for the Bears offense. So presumably Caleb Williams was great. Roschon Johnson pounded a couple runs at the goal line. Heavy run emphasis so far. Intensity was on 11 from the start and led to scuffle post-whistle just now. So, Caleb was good, or I don't know. Bears were just concluded a long team period, fully live and very physical. 2 skirmishes. Highlights were 2 touchdown runs by Roschon Johnson at the goal line versus the first defense. One of the most intense periods of practice I've seen in a while. I'm sure he was fine. I'm sure it was great. Somebody had to get him down there, right? Probably a running back, but here we go. Luther Burden catches a perfect ball from Tyson Bagent. I'm loving everything about my life. Multiple scuffles early in Bears practice today. You could tell as soon as you walked out here the defense was looking for confrontation. It's been first string, second string, everyone. Roma Dunze got a helmet ripped off at one point, just one of those days. Well, at least the Bears are doing something like the Lions. You know, I mean, if you can't coach a good football team, at least get them to be the type of team that, like, beats the crap out of each other so you can have this illusion of being, like, this tough, mean, physical team. That's the first time they've resembled the Lions in any way whatsoever, I think, so far. So kudos to the coaching staff. Initially, Emmanuel Wilson thought he had torn his ACL when he exited practice last week. Instead, he said it's just a bone bruise. Wilson wants to play Saturday against the Jets. He'll need to practice first. That's great news. Aaron Rodgers to DK for a touchdown, for those that care. Just seeing what's out there. A lot of notes. There's tons of notes about other teams and players. There's no real reason to mention them all. Tempted to mention a couple fantasy football notes, but I don't want to bog down the podcast with it. Cole Kmet went back into the building with a trainer. That's Bears, for those that don't know. More tempers flaring at practice. Roschon Johnson and Jonathan Owens got into it, ended up on the ground scrapping. Johnson ran up and down the sideline, presumably as punishment for his role in the scuffle. Oh, I love it. Roschon Johnson beat the crap out of what's-her-name's boyfriend, and then he got punished for getting beat up. You know Roschon won that battle. No offense to Jonathan Owens, but Roschon Johnson is a little frickin' pit bull. Jonathan Owens is a safety, a backup safety. I'm sorry, it just is what it is. Rodgers apparently went 3 for 3, scoring touchdowns, presumably in a red zone period there. Cole Kmet, visibly upset leaving the field with trainers, has yet to return. That's usually not a good sign, although, again, sometimes you get the Emmanuel Wilson situation where they're upset because they think it's serious, and it turns out it's not that serious. Linebacker Edgerrin Cooper, heading into year 2 of the NFL, says, quote, "Sky's the limit, I'm coming for it all." I can appreciate that. Brad Biggs said, "Bears are officially in need of another opponent to practice. Too many skirmishes in today's practice." It's funny stuff. Well, I am caught up on notes right now. I could wait around to see what else happens, locker room, etc., but I think we'll just call it for the day. Again, we got 2 more practices upcoming that we're going to go through, and then we'll plan on getting that recap like I said we were going to do. That'll happen eventually. Might make fun of some other stuff because it's fun. We'll see. We're not there yet. But you guys have a good rest of your day. I will talk to you tonight, tomorrow, whatever. Have a good one. Bye-bye.